to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Nathan Caton and Mickey Flanagan, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. We start as ever with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Prime Minister speaking recently. But what does CATL stand for?
Has he just gone really street? Is he saying, cuts and ting like? I believe that's how people...
On the street, yes.
Is it C&A totally looted?
Is it, in fact, a lot of the stores that were looted that Cameron has never set foot in his life? Costcutter, Argos, Tesco's, Lidl.
Is it Cameron attempts tit lunge? Samantha? It's dancing. It looks like he's dancing. It's Cameron attempts the lambada.
Is it Cameron's a tosser? Lol.
Or is it much, much more simple? He's in a market. Is he going, carrots and toms? Lovely.
Is it actually more simple? Is it more simple?
Go on.
Is it, in fact, couldn't arrange a turd in a lavatory?
Do you often find yourself arranging turds in lavatory? Well, that has come out at entirely the wrong angle. This pleases me. Pass me the turd wrangling implement.
The correct answer, please.
Is it Cameron advocates tough love?
Very good. Thank you very much, Hugh Dennis. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Cameron advocates tough love. This is the news that David Cameron has said those involved in the recent riots needed tough love as he promised to deal with Britain's estimated 120,000 problem families. Speaking on Radio 4's Today programme this week, the Prime Minister pledged to fund help for these families whilst also continuing to be tough on those who have broken the law. Now, we can talk about the riots, but this obviously we're off air for a number of weeks and it's difficult to conflate all these stories. Basically, News of the World got shut down because of somebody's telephone got broken and they went on the rampage of staff. They trashed London and then because of that, Gaddafi's gone. That's the gist, right? That's what happened during the summer, so that's just to bring it.
What happened was, isn't it, the police, they shot dead a man in Tottenham.
Yeah.
And that led to a lot of resentment in Tottenham and in Croydon and in parts of Birmingham.
Yeah.
And specifically in Miss Selfridge's in Manchester. A lot of resentment there.
A lot of anger about that guy.
And people, the only way they could cope with that resentment, it seemed, was to take home a new pair of trainers.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that one issue, though, was it? There was because the reporters were saying, when people were saying this is a protest, there was a reporter talking to a writer who said, well, why are you writing? And he went, well, it's the Iraq War, isn't it? That's 8 years ago, yeah. Well, I thought about writing at the time, but I thought I'd wait for this Xbox to come out.
In my area, they looted a Tesco Metro, and there's a picture on the internet, you guys might have seen it, of this young guy. He's posing outside Tesco with what he just stolen. But what he just stolen is a massive bag of Tesco value basmati rice. Why would you loot basmati rice? I mean, I'm not the coolest person in the world, but I'm pretty sure basmati rice isn't massive on the streets right now. I've been walking in London, I've heard people go, psst, what's a weed? Psst, some crack. I've never heard someone go, psst, basmati.
I saw a bloke...
I think, yeah, not just as basmati, but if you cut it with pilau.
Imagine the kid's going through the shows. I've got to get some cumin, man. I've got to find...
On the local news website, there was a witness, this girl, who said, yeah, I heard they were going to smash Primark and burn it, so I went to have a look. I only went to look. I didn't go in. I'm banned from Primark. That's what we need. Law-abiding looters.
In Chiswick, there's one shop in Chiswick boarded themselves up. Just one. Which is already, but it was a Snappy Snaps. And they boarded themselves up, like, because, well, we're obviously, people are going to go, jigsaws with children's faces on them. These are mouse mats. But the weird thing was they boarded up and they put a big sign up saying still open for business. And you're going to go, but you're Snappy Snaps. Why don't you take a photograph of the shop, print it really massively, stick it on the board, and then you look like you're open for business.
George Michael would still hit it.
Yeah, that's true.
My favourite comment on the whole riots came from Hazel Blears on Sky TV. And she said she didn't know why the kids weren't in school, forgetting it was usually happening in an evening in August. Sadly missed in government, that woman, isn't she?
Do you not think that the punishment should fit the crime, though? If you rob an electrical store, like Curry, sure, you should be fined, but pay nothing this year, and then pay 24 monthly instalments.
If you're looting stuff from Curry's, you're going to get done 90 quid for the 3-year extended warranty.
I was a victim of the looting because it was, you know, Peckham is near where I live. Not that near. I've done OK. And but it is close enough that we could see the flames. And due to this, the next night I went down my off licence to get some cans of beer. Shut. 4:30. I thought this could not be tolerated. It's affecting ordinary working people now. I just caved his windows in and took a few cans of stuff. Did you see the geezer who bent over in front of about 500 coppers, mooned them, not only mooned them, pulled the cheeks of his arse apart? Proper old school, cop for that.
Is that
See all these coppers thinking... I should have worked harder at school.
These coppers not looking at their truncheon going, if only I could. If only I
Vibrate.
I do think the tough love thing might work, though. Don't you? Not the tough bit, but the love. I mean, if I was, you know, a teenager who'd been looting, I would stop doing whatever I was doing if there was any prospect of David Cameron coming round and loving me.
David Cameron said he wanted the police to be able to have water cannon and plastic bullets at their disposal. And you think they're very different things there, aren't they? You know, I've always quite liked the idea of water cannon. It always sounds, I'm sure it is painful, but it always looks like it might be a bit of a laugh, doesn't it? A bit like Thorpe Park Extreme, without having to pay the 30 quid, you know? And let's face it, the bloke bending down, parting his arse cheeks, he could get some colonic irrigation on.
There'll be a lot of people cleaning their riot shields pretty carefully after that.
Yeah, there is a thing. Water cannons and rubber boats are both incredibly violent. They're used in the north, and they're not good things, right? Although they sound whimsical. They sound like fun. Oh no, they've taken over the bouncy castle. Get out the rubber bullets. It sounds like fun. Oh, water cannon. Oh, now I got a wet T-shirt. Sexy time.
I think kids have got too much. They've got too much technology because that's how they organise it, like BlackBerry, Twitter, Facebook. Like when I was a kid, which wasn't that long ago, we didn't have all of that. Like we didn't even have phones. I mean, we had house phones. Don't get me wrong. But when I was a kid, I couldn't go to my family and ask to use the house phone to call my friends. My family they just look at me and go, "Phone a friend, phone a friend." Me look like Chris Tarrant.
You carry it. All right. We're having a riot. We're going to take down the system. Go away! Stop listening in on my conversation! I hate you!
Well, man, it'd be like, come on, how long does it take to organise a bleeding riot? You know how much it costs, that phone?
Come on, get off the phone. OK, why has the sentencing of the rioters been criticised?
Because it's been incredibly harsh, hasn't it?
Yes,
People have been sent away for just saying that there was going to be a riot. Now, that is ridiculous. If that is the case, that's at least 4 years each for each of the Kaiser Chiefs.
Technically, as their lawyer, I would like to point out that they only predicted a riot.
They did.
One young man was sentenced to 16 months in prison for looting Boots. And that's the bad news. The good news, what he stole was lubricant. So, always like a happy ending, don't you?
Well, that happy ending is the best you can hope for. Sorry, it's a sex industry term.
He explained as though part of it. Yeah. How bad is the sex industry now that you are its representative?
What, you think the Kaiser Chiefs can't afford a better lawyer than you, right?
Fair point.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Stuart. Now we play a round called Rise of the Planet of the Japes. This game involves Andy, Stuart and Nathan, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner, who is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is the economy. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
Now, the economy not going very well, is it? So apparently a lot of people are having to shop in cheaper supermarkets. And you can understand why Waitrose might want to consider their price structure. I was in there recently, £8 for a chicken. And what's their slogan? Never knowingly undersold. Where do they do their price comparisons? A lot of supermarkets, you can get 2 chickens for £2. That is 8 chickens for £8. And it might not be the same quality, but let's face it, you could chuck 6 chickens away, you'd still be a chicken up. I've done the maths for you there, ladies and gentlemen. Waitrose have introduced a new own-brand range, Essential. I'll bet you would like to know what Waitrose regard as essential. Cherry cheesecake, roast vegetable couscous, apple yum-yum. Essential. Oh, I was in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. I only had the bare essentials. Mixed leaf salad, Italian mozzarella and a vanilla candle. Praise the Lord.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. And the subject is the older generation. Who wants to come in on that? Nathan.
Cool. Older generation. I've got a very eccentric grandma. Recently, she's been starting to get involved in my love life, right? Obviously, not too involved. She's not in my bedroom going, go on, Nathan, that's my boy! No, but whenever I go to my grandma's house, she's like, Nathan, you have a girlfriend? You have a girlfriend? Right? But she's very old school in that she doesn't realise the world we live in now is very multicultural. You know, my grandma, she's like, Nathan, we never have a girlfriend. Make sure, West Indian. Don't bring no white girl in my house. That's a problem, because I'm not going to lie. I like black girls, I like white girls, you know? I don't care about skin colour. As far as I'm concerned, if you got a vagina and a Nando's loyalty card... it's cool. I don't care about skin and colour, you know? I like black girls, I like white girls. Like I always say, chocolate is delicious, tasty and sweet. But milk is good for you. I said that to my grandma and she just went, not when you're lactose intolerant.
That leaves us with Stuart. Let's see what topic you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is family.
I heard that my sister's into bestiality. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Through no fault of his own, my uncle crashed his car into a lemon tree. He's still bitter and twisted. My other uncle, who's missing an arm, hates the way I mock him. Doesn't like when I show off. My older brother's an expert on erectile dysfunction. He's now semi-retired. I don't like the way my kids are always quick to blame other people. They get that from their mom. I get my tendency to gouge from my mom. I got my father's eyes. When I first heard that my real parents were budgies, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror.
Thank you very much, well done. Point to Sir Pat there. Everyone come back. Thank you very much. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Nathan, which category would you like?
I'll go for sport, please.
OK, your category is sport. The answer is 7. What is the question?
How many coffee breaks can Usain Bolt have during the 200 metres and still win comfortably?
Is it the age I was when I lost my virginity? That goes out to you, Father Sharkey.
Is it if he's in a hurry, what does James Bond say his number is?
Is it what should never come after the word Harper to form a girl's name? It's a shocking name, isn't it? Harper 7. It sounds like a Yorkshire bloke trying to say 7:30. Harper 7.
Is it? What is the maximum number of legs a spider can have and still qualify for the Paralympics?
Is it how many million people are hoping Beyonce's baby looks more like her and less like Jay-Z?
Is it the number of times Ashley Cole's going to have to cheat on Cheryl before she finally tells him to fuck off?
OK, is there the correct answer?
Yeah.
Is it, in fact, the number of medals Britain won at the International Athletics competition in the last week?
Congratulations, very good. That's exactly right. The answer is 7. The question I was looking for is how many medals did Great Britain and Northern Ireland win at the World Athletics Championships in Daegu, South Korea? Team GB, bracket, plus NI, close bracket, last bit's never written, won 7 medals, meeting the target that had been set by their head coach and finishing in 6th place in the medal table. Did you enjoy the games?
I thought it was great. I mean, it was... we got our medal tally, but the worry is whether we're going to get it in the Olympics. But everybody will run faster in the Olympics. You do when you've got a gang of teenagers chasing you.
Is it how many penises are under this desk right now?
I hate to disappoint you.
Why did Usain Bolt make headlines during the championships?
He was working as an intern at the Daily Mail.
Really? Look at him. Do you think he'd be an intern in the Daily Mail?
Yeah, he's the box ticked.
He false started in the 100 metres and was disqualified from a race he was expected to win.
He would have won at a canter. Why is this changed? Is this a rule change? Why is this?
Because you only get one now. You only get one false start and then you're out.
And the reason is they want to keep it to TV schedules so as they can go to the advert break. So now the choice is you either see Usain Bolt win a world record or you go and see the fat bloke doing the compare ads.
I think people just go on about the 100 metres. This is fetishised, the 100 metres. They can run 100 metres in under 10 seconds. I can have sex in under 10 seconds. Where's my medal? I just all I get is tots and disappointment.
And what offends your wife after that isn't the quickness of the sex, it's the fact that you insist on getting a medal every time.
I'm on the podium.
I want a medal.
It's just because I make her stand up for the national anthem.
It's not because there's many false starts. Is that not part of it?
You only allow one false start.
That's age, isn't it?
Well, we're back for the relay tomorrow. OK, so...
Oh, see, I fumbled it.
Handing over the baton's going to be nasty.
OK, Grant, in other news, what is making a return to the classroom?
School children.
Yes, well, specifically school children. That would be very topical. But, no, what are teachers now allowed to do that they haven't been allowed to do for a while?
Punch him in the face.
That is...
Hit him in the bollocks.
That is... The correct answer is they're not allowed to hurt the children, right? They are allowed merely, Leon has to separate them if there's a fight, for example. Or, just, you know, they're allowed physically interact with the children. Punch them in the face isn't specifically what they're allowed to do anymore.
I used to have a judo teacher. He would say he was from China.
Before you start
he would
this,
say,
right?
Come here! Come here, you're a naughty boy! And he would get his hand and pull his finger back and smack you on the forehead, propelling you across the classroom. This is absolutely true. And then he say, "Now sit down, you idiot."
Your teacher was Benny Hill?
Your book, Mickey, you know what you're going to get.
The rest of the day, you would have a great big red welt on your forehead. Is that a badge of
Why
honour?
did your school have a judo teacher? Was that part of it? Is that like, you did maths, judo, English, Thursday afternoon double judo? What's going on?
They've introduced looting now. No, he was a PE teacher who was a martial artist, phenomenal. You know, he was the main... in China, I think he was top man. So...
So are you the Karate Kid? And then he was working as a mild-mannered janitor in your school.
Yeah.
In China, he was a threat to the state. Lying low.
I don't know why.
Technically, when you were growing up, the top man in China was Mao Zedong. I think.
I am overdoing it a bit with the accent, to be honest.
What are you using
was
now?
Chinese, and, you know, or I've embellished it for comic purposes. So I think a bit more of that in schools. I think they should bring back waterboarding for them.
Bring back waterboarding.
It was a tough school I went to.
Michael Gove said that... Gove said there was a problem with kids today because he said most of them can't communicate, they can't use a knife and fork, they can't even go to the toilet. Right, which makes you think he's possibly talking about the House of Lords. Or, yeah, professional football is still open to these children. But he's saying kids today can't use a knife and fork. They can definitely use a knife. Yes. Definitely.
He was saying also that young kids, they don't know how to sit and listen properly. I was like, he's obviously never been on a bus between 3:30 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday to Friday, when all kids do is sit at the back of the bus and all you can hear is... I've been to Southampton, but I've never been to Scunthorpe. They know how to listen, trust me.
Who else is going to be teaching? What unlikely figures are going to be teaching in class in
Soldiers.
Yes?
Ex-military. And the advantage, I suppose, of getting the military in a school is that if you have unruly pupils, you can illegally render them to a different school.
I understand the need to, you know, use violent, heartless bastards to terrify the kids into submission. But don't we already have Catholic schools?
GBC.
Yes, sir, you heard me. Shoot!
At the end of that round, the points go to Chris Hugh and Stuart. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely lines from children's books.
Yes, it is sad. I used to be on Top Gear, said Stig of the Dump.
Jack, do you have any more of those beans?
A Stringfellow? What's a Stringfellow? A Stringfellow? Why, didn't you know it has tanned leather skin and a massive libido and bad 80s hair and a grin like a pedo?
This little piggy went to market, and this little piggy stayed at home, and this little piggy went and died horribly of swine flu.
Let's learn the alphabet. A is for adopted, like you. B is for basmati.
And as Eeyore put the noose around his neck.
No, I don't think you should shave, Bilbo, said Frodo. Those feet need waxing.
Yes, Grandma. What a big TV screen you got. Said Little Red Riding Hoodie.
Who's been sleeping in my bed? Said Daddy Bear. Well, said Mummy Bear. It's been your brother Ryan, and he's a much better shag than you are.
I want to go to Tottenham, said Max. That's where the wild things are.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or as we like to call them, the Sugar Babes.
Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was a handsome young prince named Dara.
Where's Gaddafi?
The railway children gesticulated wildly at the driver. You've left us behind, you wanker!
Oh dear, said Postman Pat. I've just had sex with my cat Jess. I should have gone to Specsavers.
And so Emily learned. If she'd just been a nicer little girl, Mummy and Daddy would never have got divorced.
Do you know what? Said the very hungry caterpillar. This gastric band has changed my life.
OK, the next topic is unlikely things for a sports commentator to say.
And there's just yet another Grand Slam victory for Andy Murray.
And now we come to the javelin. If you're watching in 3D, you might want to look away now.
And here we are at the women's football, but while you're enjoying the game, please spare a thought for all the men at home who are going without dinner this evening.
Well, he's stroked that through the covers. Surely it would have been easier just to pull back the duvet.
And here at the British Grand Prix, we've already had a couple of fatalities. Yes, 2 of the crowd have died of boredom.
Lewis Hamilton is 3 seconds ahead, but there's trouble at turn 17 as Dastardly and Muttley have dug a pit.
I'm here at the Green Court Bowls, and I've started cutting myself.
He's got the right hook in, he's got the left hook in, and he's finally finished putting up those curtains.
Well, welcome back after the break. You haven't missed much, just the entire Indian innings.
Now let's go back to Henley, where Claire Balding is standing with 2 cocks.
There's Rio Ferdinand. What a tackle! But enough from me. I really should let these lads continue getting changed.
Alex Ferguson has substituted Wayne Rooney. Of course, not the first time Rooney has been pulled off by a 69-year-old.
Well, what a result. The UK Somalian has beat America's Kenyan to show that the Africans aren't going to have it all their own way.
Thanks for all those fantastic statistics there, Motty. Now go and get a fucking life.
OK, again, that round, the points go to Mickey, Nathan and Andy. And that is the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Nathan Caton and Mickey Flanagan. Commiserations to Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. I'm Darwin. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Well, tomorrow at 10, BBC Two welcomes back Stephen Fry with Alan Davis, Sandy Toksvig, Lee Mack and Jimmy Carr playing I Spy on QI. And more laughs with Lee Nelson on BBC Three right now. And join Mickey Flanagan again on Epic Win, Saturday night, BBC One at 5:25.
Read about the things that happen throughout the world.
the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Simon Evans and Mickey Flanagan, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Greg Davis. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Lib Dem top brass recently. But what does CRCT stand for?
Is it Cable reaches centenary today?
Cable remembers Crimea and Trafalgar.
He's got his finger pointed at Clegg. Is it Cable reveals collaborator? Ta-da!
Is it Clegg regrets couples therapy?
Is it what happened next? Is it Cable reaches and caresses tenderly?
Is it Cable resembles crinkly testicle?
Could it be can't remember choosing them?
Is it Cable realises Clegg's a Tory?
Yeah.
I think Tosser would have got a bigger...
Yeah. So have a crack at that one.
You make it political, I'll make it funny.
Does anyone have the correct answer?
Is it conference reveals coalition tensions?
That's exactly what it is. Thank you very much, Andy. Yes, the answer I was looking for was conference reveals coalition tensions. This is the news that the Liberal Democrat Party conference has exposed growing tensions within the coalition. The latest claim comes as the party's president, Tim Farron, says the Lib Dems have become tainted by their association with the Conservatives, comparing the coalition to a marriage that is heading for divorce. Now, who's come out fighting this week, then, for the Lib Dems?
They all have, haven't they?
Yeah.
Did you see what the slogan was for the Lib Dem conference? In government, on your side. And I was thinking, surely a better slogan would be, in government, still can't bloody believe it.
This is a bit because it's a very fighting talk kind of conference, and it was like, oh, we're not the Tory. Oh, we're showing them every day. One of the things he said was, we are blocking Tory laws every day, like they're ninjas, and these things are being flung out there.
This is going to be the biggest divorce since Paul McCartney dumped Heather Mills. Although, unlike the Tories, Heather Mills does lean slightly to the left.
The tragedy of it is that it's on the telly, isn't it? And these are a party in power. They're sharing government, and the conference is on. And when you turn on the conference, you don't think, "Oh, look, I really must listen to all these arguments." You think, "What have they done with diagnosis murder?"
It's the language that the press choose to report it in that's amazing. The Daily Mail always choose words to make the Liberals look even more ridiculous than they actually are. They said that the Liberals were threatening to flounce out of government. They were going to go, come on, Vince, get your red box, we're leaving. Talk to the hand, because the legislative agenda ain't listening.
And he said we're punching above our weight.
Yeah.
Where I come from, that's a really bad thing. Well, you're punching above your weight a bit, aren't you? Yeah. In my town, you're punching above your weight if your wife hasn't got a beard.
What proposal has Energy Secretary Chris Huhne announced this week?
He's going to try and force energy companies to reduce prices, isn't he?
Something about... Yeah, he is, because he thinks that people aren't getting the competition they deserve.
I think the problem there is that people don't understand energy supplier, the phrase, do they? Particularly teenagers and stuff. You say, you know, have you switched your energy supplier? They'll probably go, well, like I was on Lucozade, now I'm on Relentless.
That's the problem. That is the voice of young Britain, right?
I'm, in fact, on Economy 7. Oh. And that's supposed to save you money, because the idea is you do things overnight. But I'm not sure it does actually save you money, because you tend to put the washing machine to go on overnight, then you actually forget that you've put it on. 2 days later, you go back to the washing machine, smell the clothes, and I better put those on again.
Isn't Economy 7 saving you money so long as you're using it in 1986?
Not that I'm aware.
I would say to you, Andy, that cookability is...
And if you want to save energy, Andy, you want to fit the best. Fit Everest.
It's called Economy 7!
It is called Economy 7, yeah.
Andy, I've got something to say to you. Boom, 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 boom. That's so blue.
Leave him. Don't take the piss out of him. He's got a tiger in his tank.
The funny is, I don't get any of these jokes because I grew up in Ireland. I don't get any of these jokes.
How about fiddly-dee, have coal?
That wasn't a popular ad in Ireland. Thank you very much.
It would make things a lot easier if there was an actual difference when you switch supplier. If they went, I've gone from EDF to British Gas, and now, I don't know, it looks a bit French or something. Do you know what I mean? If it just had something about it, but it wasn't patently exactly the same gas and just a different bill.
What, you think the gas should come out in a different colour?
Yes, I don't know, or shape or something.
Oh, I like this. This is new. Ooh, dun 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 dun. Every so often, a Sonnet Lumiere show would go on.
My father is convinced that since they switched to a French-owned electricity company, that it's coming through slower. He is sure of it. I don't know what it means.
And do you think that it's kind of coming with a kind of a French... I'll be there in a minute. Why are you so desperate to have a cup of tea? I'll be there.
I'm still distressed to find out that my Economy 7 only existed back in the 1980s.
In other news... Yes? What's going on here?
Is it? Here's Louis with the over 25s.
Is it the 8 stickers I need to complete my Panini...
Got it.
Are they the victims of a ninth man who's been gluing people to rulers?
This is a campaign against selling Stella Artois. These are the women you end up sleeping with.
Oh, in fact, these are the replies that convinced me to cancel my subscription on Match.com.
The bloke in the top right definitely used to have his head slapped by Benny Hill. That's all right.
OK. Oh, no.
I think I know it's a poster for the new movie, The Unusual Suspects.
They are all Amish, by those who are very respected from Kentucky. They've been jailed for non-payment of fines after they refused to put reflective safety signs on their horse-drawn buggies because it was too modern.
It wasn't one of the better University Challenge episodes.
And the Amish University A versus Amish University B. I do. Sorry, I love the idea of that being a University Challenge, and the scores remain 0 because neither Amish team wishes to use the buzzer.
He looks so much guiltier, that bloke in the top right, than all the others, doesn't he? It's like Father Christmas has been hanging out with the wrong people.
You want to have a look at one more, Jay? Just but yeah, let's have a close up at one more. You had this up your sleeve. How I would look as a Amish.
Is it like a young Ken Clark?
It is Ken Clark, yeah.
Are you sure it's not an advert for Regain Hair Foam?
It would be a warning ad. I smeared it here, and it came out here. OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Greg. Now, we play a round called Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Stand-Up. This game involves Simon, Greg and Mickey, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is fatherhood. Who wants to come in on that? Greg.
Yeah, my father has taken fatherhood in a very strange direction in the last few years. And it started about 3 years ago at Christmas when he announced to me, and this is a quote, and all of what I'm about to tell you is entirely real. This happened. He said to me, "Son, I am 72. I said, "I'm aware of that." He said, "Yes. I've decided from now on I should start behaving exactly as I see fit." And I said, "Well, I would welcome that." He said, "I'm glad you agree, because when you come home for Christmas, you'll discover this year that I am wearing a Christmas outfit." I went, all right then. I got home, and true to his word, he was wearing a Christmas outfit. I swear to you, it was one giant pair of white underpants that stretched from his knees to just below his nipples, and a novelty Santa hat with a flashing bulb on the end. And he came downstairs, and this is a quote, "Do you like?" I said, I find it a bit challenging. He said, I don't give a shit what you think. And he went off to eat some cheese. This is where it gets weird. I went out that night with some of the people in my hometown. Midnight, anticipating me coming home, my mother tells me he did this. He went upstairs in his Panther outfit. He went to my mother's sheet drawer, for she has one. He took out a double white sheet. He placed that over his head. He went out into their garden and he hid in a bush. With a view to giving me, his then 40-year-old son, a bit of a scare. Presumably, my mother is so sick of his shit, she decided not to tell him something that she full well knew, that on that occasion, I'd stayed over at a friend's house.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The next subject is class. Who wants to come in on that? Simon.
Class, yes. This is a society. Our country is a society driven by class. I was very much aware of this when I lived in Brixton for many years. Yeah, exactly. No, seriously, the streets of Brixton are littered with homeless people, vagrants, derelicts of one kind or another. It's very distressing if you're trying to pursue a middle-class path. And you become... And I could blinker myself to them when I was a young man, but when I had children, it became more difficult. Certainly, we had a three-wheeler, we could get over most of them, but it slowed you down. And it would puzzle me why they were there, to be honest, because, homelessness is very sad, but why, if you're homeless, would you choose to stay in Brixton? The one advantage of being homeless is you can choose where you live. A couple of hours walk, you could be in the countryside, a couple of vouchers out of the Daily Mail, you could be in the south of France by the weekend. Pick up some cheap booze on the ferry. They like a drink, don't they, the homeless, as a rule? I don't want to tar them all with the same brush, although if you sleep on the road, that will happen sooner or later. I do think it's a bit ironic the favourite drink of the homeless should be a beer called Tennent's.
OK, that leaves us with Mickey. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And subject is fashion.
Now, I'll tell you about fashion. Now, a few years ago, I was looking for a new image. So I started going on stage like this, thinking that'll create an image for me. They'll go, "You've seen the geezer, stunning looking. Where's his top button done?" But I subsequently found out the image this tends to create is you're a wanker. So I looked into the whole issue of it, and I'll tell you the situation with the shirt button, OK? So, because the people don't really thought of like that, they tend to undo their top button. There we go. It's better, isn't it? However, it's not enough. Still a bit too high. Still a bit of tension in the room. What you really want is one more. Watch. See that? It's palpable, isn't it? Everyone's going, whoa, thank God for that. That is the level of buttonage we require from a man going out for the evening to the all bar one. Very good. However, if I go one more, I'm suddenly back to being an arsehole again. How tough is it being a man knowing that you're going through life only ever one button away from being a wanker or an arsehole?
There you go. Well done all of you. The points there. And go to Simon and Mickey. Come on, let's sit down. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question on the board of 6 categories. Simon, which category would you like?
World news, please.
OK, your category is world news. And the answer is 328 billion. What is the question?
Is it measured in pounds? How fat is your mama?
How many items do you get free if you buy one at Lidl?
Is it how many trailers have there been for Downton Abbey?
according to the Daily Mail, how many travellers are there at Dale Farm?
Is it how many press-ups would I have to do to fit into one of Chris Addison's shirts?
You have to do more than that, big fella.
Is it how many troops does President Gaddafi claim are still loyal to him?
Is it the number of pieces you get in a box when you buy a wardrobe from IKEA?
Is it how many points does Silvio Berlusconi have on his brothel nectar card?
Is it, in fact, how many missed calls from Zara were on Mike Tyndall's answer phone?
Is it, what is the total debt now in euros that Greece owes the rest of us?
That's absolutely right. Thank you very much, Chris Addison. Right. Yes, the question I was looking for is, what is the total debt faced by Greece? This is the news that Greece, whose debt is a staggering 320 billion euros, is teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. Eurozone finance ministers are in disagreement about how to bail out the Greek economy. So what progress is it making?
Well, they've given the telly back to Bright House.
It's bad news, though, isn't it?
They owe 250 grand each.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. But, I mean, it is bad news. I mean, imagine how bad doner kebabs are going to taste when they start putting really cheap meat in them.
Do you know what it is? Given the products they're most famous for, they're particularly worried about a double-dip recession.
You know who I feel really sorry for in all this mess? The guy who's been charged with the job of putting all the plates back together. Because they can't afford to keep breaking them, so he's being asked to glue them back together again.
It's all rubber plates now. And
I'm not an economist, but they should have, as far as I can see, they shouldn't have got rid of the drachma, should they? They've kept their own yoghurt, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't meant to have that level of debt to join the European Union in the first place, were they? There was meant to be a much lower level of debt, but they hid all their deficits from the rest of Europe in a giant wooden horse.
What's making it worse is they're continuing to spend. That's the problem. European finance ministers are saying they've got to do some belt tightening. They can't do belt tightening. They wear togas. They look ridiculous. They look like they're in Howard's Way.
Not only are they spending, they're also not paying any tax at all. Corinth, the authorities have collected, the amount of euros collected in the entire city in the last 6 months is £18,000. Nothing. Apparently, according to people claiming it, there are 12 million people, only 5,000 of them make more than 90 grand a year. They are claiming. Nobody is admitting anything. The whole country just gone, we're not paying tax. We're just not paying it. And that's why the Germans are going, now, we'll give you the money, but are you going to pay the tax? And they're going, yeah, no problem, yeah, give us the money. OK, we've got the money. Nothing. Oh, we're just on the way to pay our tax now. My cousin Costas, he's got the envelope. He's going, OK, bye.
It's not strictly relevant, but I went out with a Greek girl once.
I can't imagine how this wouldn't be relevant to discussion of their economy.
Did you not have much money, Greg?
Yeah. I'm just throwing it in.
Yeah. I was in a lift once in Greece, and this Greek man turned to me and he went, "Are you sometimes gay?"
Well, he's giving you a way out there.
Because it went really quiet, and he went, "Are you sometimes gay?"
You've done a bit of travelling around France,
never really, never. He went, "OK."
OK, in other news, who has been granted a last-minute injunction?
The travellers.
Yes.
At Dale Farm.
At Dale Farm.
There is a sort of irony, isn't there, in the fact that the travellers don't want to go anywhere. It's sort of...
But it's just a term, though. It's just a term, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because let's face it, bouncers don't actually bounce, do they? If they did, when I jokingly pushed one over recently, I wouldn't have spent the night in hospital.
And you can understand my disappointment when I went to that swingers party.
I saw one of the women interviewed from the site, and she said, "Putting a traveller in a house is like putting a traveller in a prison." But yet they're building them.
You can put a traveller in a lodge.
What is that character? It sounds like one of the Terrorhawks.
They're always claiming this
You've gone through so many different countries with that accent as well. Welsh, French. What do you think?
To be fair, he did kind of go, "Hey, get you, Smurfs!"
When I first heard about the story, I thought, I really hate travellers. And then I realised it's the Irish travellers, it's not those twats who go around the world for a year after university. And I kind of calmed down. I'd love to see the bailiffs going after them. No! You'll never take my dream catcher away from me! It's not a dream catcher, it's string.
It's a shockingly disappointing gap year, though, if you end up in Basildon.
Yes.
Depends where you start, I suppose.
That's why the people of Basildon are so upset. They're just sick and tired of these posh people moving into the area.
Who else come out and support them?
Everybody, loads of people. When I first turned the news on, there were 2 bishops and an actress turning up to a caravan site. I was hoping for some low-budget 70s porn. Didn't turn up. And then Gloria Hunniford, who it turns out wasn't there in support of them. She was there for her new show, Wish They Weren't Here.
The arrival of the bailiffs was one of the biggest anti-climaxes I've ever seen. There was about 30 of them, and they had one 1970s loudhailer between them. And the lead bailiff went, Is there anything I can say to persuade you to leave? There was like a Life of Brian pause. And one... Speak up! Is there anything I can say to persuade you to leave? Then there was another pause, and someone went, Fuck off!
No, you just hear the woman, she went, I put a curse on you, I put a curse!
She didn't.
They're always giving it the curse, don't they? The minute it kicks off, I put a curse on you.
Oh, in that case, we'll leave it then. You say where you like.
Right now, everybody watching this has got their remote control going, there's something wrong with the sound. No idea.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Greg. OK, now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear in a police station.
Here, Sarge, the microwave's broken again. Taser that meat pie for me, will you?
I know it's unlikely, but I don't suppose anybody has handed in Colonel Gaddafi, have they?
I noticed the burglar making his escape. At this moment, I cursed the police cutbacks and gave chase, shouting, Nina, Nina, Nina.
All units, be on the lookout for a purple Renault Clio. Registration number, Saffron Doily 22, Bongella Chrysanthemum. Hiya!
No, we didn't manage to evict many of them, Sarge, but the good news is I got some lucky heather.
No, I've not come to report a crime. It's just that I really missed the bill, so I thought I'd pop in for an hour.
Here, Sarge, pass us the art section out the Guardian, will you, mate?
Yes, I know how identity parade works. That's her! That's her! That's the woman I robbed.
Right, listen up. We've got a new man starting. He's half man, half horse. It's Inspector Morse.
Yes, our new 50-inch plasma screen TV. It is rather nice, isn't it? Well, if you can't beat 'em, eh?
I am charging you with the murder of Mrs. Thompson. That'll be £7.19, please.
Right, listen up. There's a giant fly attacking the station. I've called the SWAT team.
Thank God you've arrived, officer. Some bloke just jumped into the boot of my car and shot himself 14 times.
Yeah, we got the tox report back. Turns out they go straight after the ticks.
I was about to arrest her, Sarge, but to be honest, my bottle went because she shouted out, "I put a curse upon you!
Okay, the next topic is unlikely things to hear in a science documentary.
Having cloned Ian Wright, we now know that 2 Ian Wrights don't make an Ian wrong.
Erectile dysfunction. Physical problem? Or has the wife just let herself go a bit?
Well, this is incredible. This is a whole new species of miniature tiger. Oh, no, hang on, it's a cat.
Now, pay attention. Here comes the shampoo bit.
We discovered the source of the quark. It's the sound made by a posh duck.
This is a red dwarf. His name is Anthony Worrell Thompson.
Welcome to the sky at night. And if we look out, oh, hell, Croydon's on fire.
Despite getting a very bad press, biological weapons work at much lower temperatures than non-biological weapons.
Without penicillin, well, I'd still be cursing that day I went to Bangkok.
Tonight we look at the ginger community. Physical anomaly or God's cruel joke?
Ah, the Northern Lights. Oh no, Manchester's on fire.
But will they find a cure in time? The last hope for mankind lies with scientists here at the Laboratoire Garnier.
Tonight on Show Me the Evidence, we look at the traveller community. Can they really put a curse on you?
And as the sperm swim towards the eggs, it's hard not to think that I've ruined this fried breakfast.
I'm never again going to have a fried breakfast.
Okay, at the end of that, the points go to Mickey, Simon and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Simon Evans and Mickey Flanagan. Commiserations to Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Greg Davis. Thank you for watching. I'm Darrell Green. Good night.
Dara and Comedy Chums back later at 10:10 next week. Stephen Fry and Alan Davis joined by Frank Skinner, John Bishop and Sean Locke for QI tomorrow at 10 on BBC Two. Well, over on BBC Three now, a member of the audience is in for an unusual lesson on Lee Nelson's Well Good Show.
Hello and welcome to the last and the current run of Mock the Week, where over the last few weeks we've seriously weakened the coalition, massively pressurised the opposition and talked a lot about Sepp Blatters. Tonight, we'll be looking back at some series highlights, outtakes and stuff you won't have seen before. Hope you enjoy it. How has Ed Balls become implicated in the Miliband story?
Ed Balls has been implicated because supposedly he was part of the plot to overthrow Gordon Brown. Well, I'll say that again because it wasn't Gordon Brown he was trying to overthrow him.
Wow, he just loves overthrowing, doesn't he?
Andy, I'll take over here. I'll take over here. If it's heavy political stuff we're dealing with, I'll take over here.
But basically, he's been involved...
No, sorry, that's good.
Yeah, OK, I'll get it right.
Yeah, go on. You were explaining it beautifully, I thought. Moving on, how has Ed Balls become implicated in the Miliband story?
I'll tell you.
Well...
Apparently it was the first words out of David Miliband's mouth when he heard that Ed had won the election. Yeah.
Ed Balls.
Come on!
Basically, Ed Balls has been implicated in the plot to overthrow Tony Blair because he was part of this whole idea of rebranding Gordon Brown as Project Volvo because Gordon Brown was supposed to be dull and unreliable, basically. Or dull and reliable.
Yeah. Well, it was part... They did some research. The two parties did... Well, Labour did some research, and they found that Gordon Brown was likened... If you could get an object, he was likened to a Volvo, a bear, or a buffalo. And they did some research on David Cameron, and they found that he was likened to a Spritzer, an Alco Pop, a BMW, or a horse.
The idea that they wanted to rebrand him because when people given these abstract concepts, they thought Gordon Brown, they think of as beer and whiskey, and David Cameron as Spritzer and Alcopops. Who could look at that and think that that's negative towards Gordon Brown? Hello!
Spritzer drinkers among us.
I love them. I tell you what, if it was a Campari, you'd have had my vote. The memos that this was based on leaked, right? The last time Ed Balls saw the memos, he says, they were on his desk when he was Secretary of State for Children, Schools and Families. What kind of incompetent person leaves incriminating paperwork on a desk after they've left a job? Wait a minute. Frankie's plan to oust Dara?
Never happened.
The plan was to try and make him appear more normal.
Yes.
This is the thing. They wanted to hide his exceptional school record and the fact that he excelled as a student and was fast-tracked through politics because he was a really good student and really clever. And they wanted to hide that fact and make him seem more normal because that makes him appeal to the voters, to be more normal. People want to vote for someone who's like them. I want someone exceptional in number 10. I don't want someone who's like me. I spent 2 hours yesterday trying to remember if I'd had a shower yet or not. That is true.
Sitting where I am now, I can tell you the answer for today is no.
Any other news? What's going on here?
Oh, really? They found a piece of toast with Osama bin Laden on. They would have found it 10 years ago, but it was hiding in the toaster. It definitely is him, because when someone tried to eat it, he used a Pop-Tart as a shield.
It is surely the photograph I've always wanted. It is proof that Osama bin Laden is toast.
Yep, that's what it is.
That is, of course, Osama in his heyday. Now, of course, you know, if you pull out the crumb tray and pour it into the sink, that is more what he looks like.
Jesus must be well pissed off with this. Even a few weeks ago, that would have been Jesus.
That would have been Jesus.
It's me, lads. I'm back again. I'm on toast this time.
Toast is unbelievably fickle. Toast chases trends like no other heated bread.
It's not the bread, though, is it, guys? Think about it. It's the toaster that's done that. You put the bread in the toaster. It's the toaster that's cooked his face, like Bin Laden. So it's the toaster, you idiots.
Somebody's been watching Delia Smith.
What has been revealed about elephants this week?
Elephants are like human beings in that they flirt and they have arguments.
They flirt.
They flirt. Elephants flirt. There are elephant chat-up lines and everything.
What, you could phone up and an elephant would
No,
bellow?
not a chat line.
Like messages down the phone.
Not an elephant.
I think elephants are overprotected. Well, it's easy for me to say from my ivory tower.
It was worth it just to get to that joke. What has Work and Pension Secretary Ian Duncan-Smith been calling for this week?
He has said, Ian Duncan-Smith has called on British bosses to employ more British people. And the British bosses have said that they can't do that because foreign workers work much more efficiently and the British have lost their work ethic. And that's as much as I'm going to say, unless I'm on double time. And I get another tea break.
Well, as a foreigner, I'll pick up the slack then, won't I?
The only thing that gets me is I have a very left-wing and liberal attitude to Eastern European immigration. The only thing that comes to it is, though, is you go, welcome them, let them come in, but then you get refused entry to a nightclub by a bouncer from Lithuania. And suddenly your lefty attitude to immigration takes a big step to the right for the...
It's not just bouncers from Lithuania who turn you away, though, is it?
Well, here's the thing. Every bouncer on every nightclub door in Dublin now, it seems, are from Eastern Europe. And Eastern European bouncers, they're hard-working, they're conscientious, but they don't watch Mock the Week, right? Leave nothing trying to get into a nightclub in Dublin. And then you hate yourself for the stuff you come out with. Lefty liberal going, what do you mean you won't let me in? We let you in.
You don't mind having, like, efficient cherry pickers, but you don't want, like, an Eastern European traffic warden, do you? Like, I gave out 500 tickets this morning. I gave out 500 tickets this morning. I need to drink some beer.
What much does he go,
I grew up on Dracula
one parking ticket.
You cannot park here. No parking in this area.
Sorry, is that Dracula or Bob Dylan?
You cannot park here.
Presumably the traffic warden goes, and why are you parked here? And the driver goes, I couldn't get in the chair!
Fast recovery, Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the royal family.
Oh, my God, my arse has gone to sleep. Well, it's so difficult to decide from one test drive. I think it's a toss-up between this and the Vauxhall Astra. What do you think, Liz?
Well, why don't you ask them if they can do a deal?
Oh, this is a strange dealership. Fancy dress. Ah, I see. Liz has come as one of the girls from Sheila's Wheels. I want the big one out the front, all leathered up. It's not the first time I've said that. I'm not in fancy dress, actually. I'm a proper judge. Oh, can you get me a super injunction? What have you done? Oh, practically everything.
Well, as you can see from the footage from the speed camera, it's a black Daimler with bulletproof glass, registration plate HRH1. So if you can decide which of the two of you was driving, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time and indeed trouble. We've also got your husband's hard drive, madam. Yes.
I thought I got the safeguards on. Must have forgotten.
Did they find anything on the computer, ma'am?
Well, actually, it was rather sweet. 6,000 images of Pippa Middleton. But if you'll excuse me, I've just got to go and do a bit of moonlighting. Shouldn't take a minute. Yes. Are you paying too much for your car insurance?
Have you seen what's going on over there? Yes. They're trying to fit me up for a crime I never did, yes. Speeding and looking at the posterior of a very attractive young lady. I don't get it. Since when has that been a crime? They can't bang you up for that, can they? Perhaps they can. I've done nothing. If you want to arrest someone for a crime, get Princess Beatrice for that hat she wore at the royal wedding. I look like a mutant curly-whirly. Brown, fuzzy filth, yes.
Now, so, Philip, Louis, Stavros, Mountbatten, Windsor, you are charged on 365 counts of endangering wildlife and 18 of impersonating a policeman with an Indian accent. How do you plead?
Oh, piss off.
Well done. Why has strike action been called, by the way?
The reason this is to do with the pensions.
It's your pensions, yes.
Apparently, 1 in 5 people alive today are going to live to 100. That's how bad this situation is. 1 in 5 people. Like, you think, I'm not happy about that at all. And you think, I'm in my late 30s and I already fart when I cough, so I'm not... I'm not happy about that.
I'm very grateful you've not got a tickly throat at the moment.
In other news, what has been discovered this week about man flu?
It exists, apparently.
It does exist. In what way does it exist?
In the way that...
I just know...
Never mind, she's on her period.
You can clap, she's just coughed and I've still got to sit here.
So apparently man flu does exist. Apparently women are better at fighting off the viruses because we've got stronger sex hormones. That's official.
No, stronger immune systems. I'm not sure if that's... This is quite the same thing.
Confusing me, Grazia magazine. Sorry.
We've got so much more to do as well, women. There's the cooking, the cleaning, and everything. We can't be going down with the flu. We've got to do the dinner.
Yeah, so you actually, women just don't get as many colds as men do. It's the same effect when you do, but they just don't get as many colds because their immune system is much stronger.
Basically, we're just better. That's really what... I mean, it's quite a long article, but they could have just written it in one line, just women are better. That would have been it, I think. That would have been...
I'd like to answer
Bill's
this...
not even on my side there, that's it.
The problem for men, essentially, is that when you are ill, no one believes that you are. So there's a whole opportunity for the drugs industry. You need drugs that make you look iller. You know what? Lemsip Max increases the symptoms of flu.
So they live 5 years longer on average.
Women do live 5 years longer, and they get to stop work 5 years earlier as well.
Yeah.
Which is the thing.
Not for long. You'd be laying in a coffin and she's like, he ain't really dead. He's just putting it on. Look at him laying in there, all pasty and dead. Because I mentioned the garden shed needed mending.
Was your grandfather's funeral particularly traumatic?
Yeah, we couldn't get out of the chair.
Who's the real power broker? Who's the kingmaker in parking in this country?
Is it NCP?
No, it's not NCP. Who's the one single individual who wields more power over parking in this country than anyone else?
Boris Johnson.
No. It is, according to Parking Review, it's Hugh Dennis.
Yeah.
That's right. This magazine, which was sent to me anonymously, Parking Review, features 10 separate photographs of Hugh Dennis on its pages at the moment.
Yeah, I did the National Parking Awards.
Who wins a National Parking Award?
They did Best Multi-Story. That was in there. Have you not done the National Parking Awards?
I've not done the National Parking Awards, and I didn't know that this was a bonus of it. I'm going to seek out the National Parking Awards.
So, sorry, when you say parking, do you mean, like, in a car, reversing into a slot? Yeah, is that your talk? Right, OK.
Yeah. They had awards, and Hugh handed them out.
I handed them out, yeah. Well, I gave them all tickets, to be honest. I
get a feeling Hugh's not enjoying this.
Shawty. Sepp Blatter. Why have mother-in-laws been in the news this week?
A woman wrote a letter saying that her daughter-in-law was uncouth, and that there was a wedding coming up. She was uncouth. She ate her dinner from the wrong side.
What's that? What is that? Is there a direction? You have to go left to right with your dinner. You have to go like the typing.
In polite circles, when you get your dinner put in front of you, you start on the left-hand side and make your way across. Jack
Was
will
this
tell
the
you.
plate?
What? brilliant. And if they put, like, all the steak on, you have to eat your way through the stuff until eventually...
I knew you people were plebs, but this is unbelievable. In the East End, we start on the left-hand side, we make our way over to the other side.
What happens if you don't like the stuff on the left-hand side?
Well, you're in trouble, isn't
You have to turn the plate round.
Yeah. What do you do if it's like pasta? What if you're accidentally... and it seems to be coming from over there? And you're like, no, I mean this bit. Like, it's all mixed in.
If your pork chop
I'm
is
not
there...
solving problems, I'm just explaining things.
If your pork chop is there and your potatoes are there, you have to eat your pork chop first.
Yep.
And then the potatoes afterwards.
Optional, the potatoes. As long as you've started on the left, everyone goes...
What if it's soup?
What?
Can I explain this? Yes. A lady called Carolyn Byrne this week sent an email to her future daughter-in-law. She's stepmother of the guy she's marrying, a lady called Heidi Withers. And it went viral. And in which she accused her of being very uncouth, lacking in grace, said that it was disgraceful that she'd never sent her a thank you card for the time she spent, that she shouldn't have stayed in bed while the rest of the house was up. And basically, said, essentially that, you know, oh yeah, you shouldn't get married in a castle unless you live in a castle.
Which is ridiculous. You don't get... If you live in a castle, you get married in St. Paul's Cathedral.
Yeah. You do, yeah. I mean,
you live in a castle, you can get married.
I can't help it. He lures me in. I loved the Count. He was my favourite thing. One peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah.
My favourite thing was they've then asked them for comments afterwards, and they've all stonewalling, haven't they? Nobody said anything. The bride and groom haven't, apart from her father,
yeah.
who came out with the great quote, which was that woman... Basically, she's got a head so far up her arse, she doesn't know whether to speak or fart. And this is the bloke, right, who's got to make a speech at the wedding.
Yeah.
If he's saying that now, get a ticket for that reception.
I think it's nice to see a mother sort of, like, looking after her son, because whenever I go out with girls, my mum always takes the side of the girl, probably justifiably. But I was going out with a girl recently, and it was, like, quite a difficult patch of the relationship. And I don't normally do it, but I was like, I'm going to look on her phone. On her phone, I found a text message from my mum saying, I think you deserve better.
It's very different. Etiquette in other people's houses is very different. There's lots of etiquette I've never, ever understood. As a child, genuinely, I used to get very confused when I said, you know, you mustn't eat with your mouth open. And I genuinely thought, how'd you get the food in? It's also that ludicrous thing about when you are eating soup, you're meant to push the spoon away from... And you think, my mouth's here. Why am I... What's all that about?
You know, if you go to someone's house for dinner in the evening, right, and you go upstairs and you lay a massive log in the toilet that won't go down. What is the etiquette there?
You break it down with a brush. That's what you do.
You do battle with it.
You fight it and you win. And like soup, you push away. You push away.
Thanks, Gar.
The worst thing is if you go to... This has happened to me. You go to the loo and you find there's a massive log already in it. Yeah. And what do you do then?
You walk out and you go, who left this disgraceful thing in here?
I had to beat someone else's massive log to death before I could go back downstairs for fear that they'd think that I had left.
They were all looking at you normally, apart from one person looking at you going, you have destroyed my log. You and I both know what I did there, and you can never tell anyone. I am the winner here. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. If you do that in as fucking shambolic a way as possible, that would be really helpful. Of course, we'll get them to do it all again. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. If you could manage to do that less sarcastically. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. Look, he naturally... walking like you're naturally walking into the position.
That's my normal walk.
Yeah, no,
2 inches that way.
What? I'll give you 2 inches.
Now.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on a history documentary. Sorry, apologies.
Harsh.
My fault. Sorry, do you want to walk back and walk back out again? My fault.
No,
it's still valid. It's still you. It's still you doing it. No one will step in.
I'll go back
I
a little
promise you.
bit.
Go back all the way. I'm sorry. Itchy trigger finger. I apologise. Oh, now I'm so tempted to do it again. Very much. It's very important that part of my head looks fantastic at all times. That's why I plucked all the hair off, just to make sure that it received all the attention it deserved. Wayne Rooney's a pussy. OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Alan, Hugh and Milton. OK, can we do that again without you whining like a fucking child, right? Go back there. Christ almighty.
Is it how many matches has Novak Djokovic lost in the last year?
Do you want to do that again? Djokovic.
Is it how many matches has Novak Djokovic lost in the last 12 months?
Yeah, round about that. That'll do fine. It's actually not. It's this year. Sorry, you'll just get sports nerds given out to us. It's actually this year.
Strangely, I thought a year was 12 months.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've misunderstood.
No, this year means 2011. Right? Okay, and we're only in the middle of this year, Hugh. So don't get picky with me. Right?
I wasn't aware that you were using the Gregorian calendar. Anyway,
reinstated those 13 days in which he lost yet another game.
OK.
Right, okay.
Of course, people are watching this on Dave.
In which case, it all happened
exactly.
many decades ago. Maybe now's the time to test for the fallout levels and see if it's OK to resume living on the surface of Earth.
Is it how many matches has Novak Djokovic lost in the year of our Lord 2011?
This week's clip features Nick Clegg and David Cameron.
What are you talking
I
about?
know. You'll love this one. Well done, Hugh. By the way, scheme we have here just to boost the self-confidence of members of the team. Randomly, I say well done and people clap.
I've got a star chart in makeup.
OK, Why has Cheryl Cole been in the news this week?
Because she's got a really good PR agency.
I met her once, dead behind the eyes like a shark. Like a shark. The other four are great fun. Fucking the blonde, boozy one, she's gas. But even the weird, like, porcelain one, she's fun as well. But she...
Dara's gone.
Did you go dead behind the eyes?
Dead behind the eyes! The next topic is unlikely things to hear on a TV talent show.
Tonight, I'm going to be climbing a step ladder.
You're right. I can't sing. Thanks.
I'd like to dedicate this song to a friend of mine who was run over last week and is in hospital. The wheels of the bus go round and round, round and round.
I've got an ability that no one on this planet has. That's Ant, that's Dec.
It was like Elvis was in the building. You're fat and there's a stench of death.
Well, Peter, it's not what everyone would call entertainment, but you are one hell of an assassin.
I thought you hit the high notes really, really well. Be interesting to see if you can still do that when I haven't got your nuts in a clamp.
Oh, where's my double act partner? Oh, he's in here. Feeling. nothing more than freedom. Trying to hold.
When you said you were going to ride a donkey...
Yes, I have been on the show before. I was once trapped in somebody else's underpants, going, feeling.
That was an exceptional performance, and the way that you have overcome your blindness is truly inspirational. But this is a chip shop, the X Factor audition.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think you're all terrible, OK? All of you, you're completely dreadful. I don't know what you're doing. Especially you, Hasselhoff. What have you done since Baywatch?
I think you could go the whole way. And if you do, I'm quite likely to put you in the final.
I know you said you were a Gary Glitter tribute act, but we weren't expecting you to do that.
Yeah, I'm Tom, and this is Dave, my dancing guinea pig.
Play the music! Play the music!
The next topic is unlikely lines from a superhero film.
Worry not, Procrastination Man is here. Where is everybody? What's with all the blood?
Catwoman, what did I tell you about not shitting in next door's garden?
I am Big Society Man. I could do it for you, but I'd much rather you did it yourself.
Prepare to meet a new breed of sex-change superhero in the X-Men.
Yes, I do believe a man can fly, but only if he's carrying under 100 mils.
I am Parking Review Man. Where's my check?
I'm Hyperman. I'm like Superman, only... Oh. I'm Hyperman. I'm like Superman, only... I'm Hyperman. I'm like Superman, only I'm bigger and I sell tellies. Worth the trip twice, I think, wouldn't you say?
Just call the police.
I'm sexist, I'm racist, and I drive like an arsehole. I am White Van Man.
What use is a spider's web against me, Duster Man and Hoover Boy?
Hello, I'm Batman Begins.
OK, next topic is...
Oh, I had a really good one.
Oh, did you, John?
I think so.
Go on.
Where should I do...
Yeah.
You're doing it. This is part of it.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, you're just really good at acting. At the end of the series, I couldn't give a shit. OK, at the end of that round, try to get the mood back up again. Get the mood back up again. The mask has slipped. and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Ava Vidal and Miles Jupp, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Carl Donnelly. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, pounding the streets recently. But what does CFIP stand for?
Is it just a list of things that will be affected by the cuts? Is it children, families, industry, people?
Is it, in fact, his security code name, Charlie Foxtrot Irritating Prick?
Is it chipolata found in pocket?
Is it a recipe that he's just thinking of cooking that night? Is it caviar and fig-infused partridge?
Is it cops find iPhone pervert?
I reckon it must be a clever fellow in plimsolls.
Is it just pointing out what he's going through, which everyone goes through when they jog, which is clammy forehead, itchy privates?
Is it all part of his health regime? Is it Chancellor's finger inspects prostate?
Hey, all men over a certain age should have their prostate checked. That's just something we at Mock the Week support. Can I move you towards the much duller but correct answer?
It is Chancellor flees immense pigeon.
It's more dull than that story.
OK.
Yeah.
It is Chancellor faces increased pressure.
It's close enough. That'll do fine. Well done. Thank you very much. Cheers. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Chancellor facing increasing pressure. This is the news that Chancellor George Osborne is under increasing scrutiny as the British economy fails to improve. He also faces calls for an immediate implementation of new banking reforms and renewed arguments over the 50p tax rate. Have the bankers been let off the hook by the banking reforms, do we think?
Kind of, because they don't have to... it's all about them ring-fencing stuff. They've got a ring-fencing, which is the most dangerous event at the Olympics. I am totally representing Britain.
Basically, the gist, and this is the best analogy I could come up with for banking reform at the moment, which is you've got two halves of the office, right? The retail half, let's say, and the investment half, and they've got one biscuit tin, right? And the retail half take biscuits out of the biscuit tin, and they put more biscuits into the biscuit tin. And the investment half use the biscuit tin to take the biscuits out and lure children into paedophilia. So Wait. Right. What we're saying is that's got to stop. And in 8 years' time, you have to buy your own biscuits. That is essentially banking reform.
8 years is too long for banking reform, isn't it? I say let them do it in 2 years, and for every day they go over that, for every account they have, charge them a tenner and send them a letter.
The thing is that we all get very kind of wound up about it, but none of us ever change banks, do we? We could easily change bank. Why how did you choose your bank in the first place?
Because I went into Lloyd's, I think, first, and they wouldn't accept my passport as a form of identification. Genuinely, I went in with an Irish passport, and your man went, don't think so. And went off and then came back and said, I'm afraid we can't accept this. And I showed him visas to China and played that going, well, the Chinese government accepted this as a form. And he went, oh, well, Lloyd's. And he sang the song.
Perhaps the best way to stop the bankers doing anything with our money is to make them... Every time they want to do something, they have to go through a password check. And the question is what their mother's maiden name is, and they'd never be able to answer it because they're all bastards.
It's amazing how many people in Britain's password is actually the word password. That is how stupid a lot of people in Britain are. So if you ever want to crack a code, try password as the first one.
Why would anybody have the password? I mean, that's just stupid. Mine is 6791.
You're right, that's much easier to remember, Hugh. Thank you very much.
Vince Cable has said he's not happy with the 8-year time frame for the banking reforms. But let's face it, Vince Cable isn't happy with any 8-year time frame for anything because he's worried he'll be dead.
I was merely going to say not re-elected, but dead is harsh. Why has George Osborne been dragged into the phone hacking scandal?
Because he was already involved in it in the beginning.
He was formerly friends with someone who ran a prostitution distribution business. This lady claims that she and George Osborne took cocaine together. George Osborne,
he strenuously
denies taking prostitutes' cocaine.
And possibly all other forms of cocaine. We have to legally say that there's no... But he strenuously denies it. But she linked him with the phone hacking. How, my friend?
Because her number was in Glenn Mulcair, the private investigator, engaged by the News of the World to listen to everybody in the country's phone calls. It was found in his file.
And do you know why I think this is a failed opportunity? This woman ran a high-class escort service and nobody's asked her what she thinks of the 50% tax rate. Because if there's anyone who would have strong feelings of that, it'd be hookers, who after half an hour must be going, geez, I'm doing this for the government now.
Wasn't the agency, it was a specialist agency, wasn't it? It was called Black Beauties.
So, ponies?
No. It was all black women. Were you looking at me like that for?
Because you're speaking.
Oh,
I thought you'd find it more polite. I'm happy to look over at Chris while she's speaking, but...
Dance for you, Andy, whilst I was talking.
No, because I said it's called Black Beauties. You were looking at me like I was about to confess something. I just read it.
Would you see if you said it's Black Beauties, then we all slowly turned away? Like that scene in 12 Angry Men. Oh.
It's amazing, isn't it, that they actually found out so much for the phone hacking? Because let's face it, if you've got anything important to say to people, you don't tend to leave it on their answer phone message. You go, oh, call us back, don't you? You don't go, oh, yes, I've booked all those prostitutes in Nazi uniforms and I've buried the body at the bottom of the garden. Anyway, let's hope nobody finds out about this. Call me back.
And I'm on the train.
That's the kind of story you would expect to see, wouldn't you? Hugh Grant's girlfriend says she's on train, she'll be about half an hour. Would Hugh like her to pick up some milk on the way back? Hugh Grant's mum says she doesn't really like talking to these sorts of things. She's going to put your dad on.
There were loads of people who had, like, their phone... Like, Sienna Miller had her phone hacked and said that she had messages that were deleted. Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? It's not as though she'd missed out on Hollywood film roles.
That Rebecca Brooks is a tough woman, though, isn't she? She was married to Ross Kemp and she beat him up. That is a sad day when you've got to go around visiting gangs all over the world because it's safer than going home.
But there was another one, wasn't there, phone hacking this week?
There was, yeah.
Which was David Blunkett,
yeah.
wasn't it? And do you know how they know it was David Blunkett? Because when the phone's answered, there's a dog saying, Dave, it's for you, mate.
Surely he's one of the only ones you didn't need to sort of hack. You could just sneak up and just stand next to him.
That's very good. And the amount of fake photographs of him doing cocaine, because you just go... In any social situation, just put the plate filled with cocaine. Yeah, but it was mundane, because people just didn't change their codes on the thing. And their argument was, well, it was just there.
I think it's crazy that people don't change their code anyway. Mine's 6791.
It's easy for you to remember, isn't it? Because it's the year you were born, 67, followed by the year you lost your virginity.
Yep, well, I'm pleased about that because you've made me slightly younger than I actually am.
And it means you've had sex at least once.
OK, take that round. The points go to Miles, Alva and Andy! Now we play a round called David Walliams Swims Through Muck. This game involves Alva, Carl and Miles, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... kids. Who wants to come in last? Ava.
What kids want to wear these days is kind of shocking and scary. As a parent of a teenage daughter, I have to always be vigilant. And my daughter was trying to sneak out one day and she had this long coat on. It was done all the way up to the top. And women, we know what that means, right? The ones laughing are slags, because essentially what that means is, it means you're going out half naked, you don't want your mum to see your outfit. So I went, hold it, lady, open the coat. And she opened it. I went, there's no way in hell you're leaving my house dressed like that, because she'd squeezed herself into this lycra mini dress and it was all cleavagey and it had cut-out bits down the side. I was like, did I say you could borrow that? But you have to be vigilant, and you have to warn your kids about the dangers out there. And I warned my daughter, and she turns around to me and she goes, I'm not scared of no weirdo pedo, because I've read I'm more likely to be sexually abused at home anyway. Which is ridiculous, because for a start, I don't find that girl attractive at all.
Thank you very much, Ava. OK, let's spin the wheel again. And the subject is health. Who wants to come in on that? Miles.
OK, well, health. I have recent experience of the medical profession. My wife and I, we have a little baby, and we had a home birth. If you mention the idea even of a home birth to people of an older generation, they're always instantly terrified, but that's just a generational thing, like racism and not indicating on roundabouts. They don't realise there's another way forward. But I myself, I have to say, quite nervy about the idea. On the one hand, I thought, is our sitting room really the safest place for us to have a newborn child, right? On the other hand, I did think it would be an excellent opportunity for us to get some new carpets. Perhaps take advantage of our extremely comprehensive home and contents policy. I waited till the head was showing. You've got to be sensitive. And then I tiptoed into the next room and got straight onto the phone to our insurance people. I was excited. I was giving all the measurements. I'd done them months ago. But they were, a lot of questions. They asked a lot of questions, the insurance people. They wanted to know why my wife had attempted to give birth in every room in the house.
Thank you very much. OK, that leaves us with Carl. Let's see what you've been out with. Let's spin the wheel. The subject is marriage. Away you go.
Right. I recently got married, and it's actually all right. People moan about it. I think it's quite good. The only downside I've found is I now get extra guilty when I mess up, which I didn't know about. But I learnt this in a baptism of fire when 2 weeks after we got married, I accidentally punched my wife in the face. It sounds worse than it is. I'm not making light of domestic violence. She went to make me a cup of tea, right? Normal sort of stuff. It was her round, right? And I was sitting in the front room watching TV, and I had a fight with a fly. Do you know when a fly is getting around your head and you can't get it? That happened for 5 minutes. She then came back with the teas, and it disappeared. So I thought, I'm not going to tell her. Let's just get on and drink these teas, right? Where you give it like 5 minutes to cool, average tea cooling time, right? These teas are ready to go. She leans for her first sip, but I don't see that, because half a second before she leans, I spot that fly again. And he's coming from the corner of the room, so this time I know what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to look at him. I know he's there, right? I'm going to play it cool. I'm just going to carry on watching the TV. When he gets about there, I'm just going to go, right? I'm in the zone. I'm so in the zone, I don't see my wife lean into the flight path, right? She leans for her first sip of tea, and out of nowhere, I go, I punch her clean on the cheek, right? It's clean as she goes flying onto the sofa. What must I look like to her? We've been married 2 weeks. Right? She's made me a lovely cup of tea, and it looks like I've just punched her in the chops. Right? She's crying on the sofa. I started crying. I've just punched my new wife. And it took me like 5 minutes to calm her down and explain about the fly. And to this day, I just can't believe she bought it.
Well, the cause there for Ava and Miles. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Miles, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, your category is sport. The answer is 6.5 weeks. What is the question?
How do you express 45.5 days in weeks?
Is it how long before Wayne Rooney realises they've sellotaped a hamster to his head?
Is it how early do my parents get to the airport just in case?
Is it what is the age of Lidl whiskey?
This whiskey's from late June.
Is it how long will we all get to enjoy retirement for before we die under the new pension rules?
Is it what is the amount of time between Kerry Katona earning a massive amount of money and declaring herself bankrupt again?
What was the previous British 10,000-metre record before Mo Farah came along?
Is it how long in the average year does the Queen spend trying to train her corgis to ride in a motorcycle pyramid?
Is it how long is Doctor Who's Tadger?
Very good space-time work there. OK, you got the correct answer,
Yes,
please.
it's after what length of delay will EasyJet give you a 50-quid voucher?
OK, correct answer for Cam, please.
Is it what the teacher said when a boy called Weeks got 6.5?
Is it how long will the Rugby World Cup last for?
Of course, it's very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andy. Yes. The question I was looking for is, what is the duration of the Rugby World Cup that's currently taking place in New Zealand? The host nation kicked off the tournament on Friday when they beat Tonga. The World Cup final would take place 6.5 weeks later on Sunday, 23rd of October. Why so long?
Well, because that's the amount of time it takes.
That issue settled. If we'd only been this clear on the economy, knocked off at 9:15.
How much of the last 5 years can Charlie Sheen remember?
I don't kind of get rugby. I think rugby's like some muscular form of crazy golf. It's like a sport we know, but made funnily random. Oh, look, the ball has got a pointy edge. Where's it going to bounce? Oh, it's going everywhere.
This is a true fact. The Rugby World Cup boasts the highest concentration of tragically repressed homosexuality outside of a cabinet meeting.
Have you seen the England team? They're playing in all black.
Yes.
Which is confusing a lot of people, including a lot of New Zealand supporters, who suddenly now think that their team is shit. Well, I was thinking, if they're going to hate the All Blacks, why not go the whole hog and before the game starts, do a Morris dance?
But surely you can't just pick another team. You can't just go in. Oh, we've disguised ourselves. So they don't know. Who am I giving the ball to? Could be me. Could be him. Who knows? You never know. We move like the wind. Gone. In other sporting news, what has David Walliams achieved this week?
David Walliams has swum down the Thames 150 miles, although they have released 500,000 tonnes of raw sewage into the Thames this week.
This was not in reaction to David Walliams swimming. It's not somebody with a giant... I'll get him. I didn't like that sketch on Little Britain about release the poo.
It is. He ended up, didn't he, in London? And it just made me think that actually swimming the Thames is very like politics, in that you start at Oxford, and if you can swallow enough shit, you end up at Westminster.
You get to snog a supermodel.
Yeah.
Did she kiss him straight away?
She probably said, "Oh, darling," wipe the face.
She's Dutch. She'd be fine.
What else did he manage to do along the way?
He rescued a dog.
He rescued a dog, yes, he did rescue a dog.
Just make it even more heroic. I think he's got a really dark secret he's just trying to overcompensate for. Like, you haven't seen Matt Lucas for a while. I reckon he's killed Matt Lucas.
This dog supposedly had a bad hip, right, and it's constant sessions of hydrotherapy. Did the dog really want to be rescued?
Maybe the dog jumped. Maybe it was a bark for help.
In other news, how is the search for Colonel Gaddafi going?
Really well.
Super! We checked under the desk, no sign. My guess is he's in Madame Tussauds posing as a Gene Simmons waxwork. Or Weatherspoons. He could hang out in Weatherspoons and nobody would bat an eyelid. If you walked into a Weatherspoons, there was a man wearing a blanket saying he'd killed people. Yeah, that's just normal, isn't it?
Do you know, he's been spotted there, hasn't he? He's been spotted in Niger, Burkina Faso and Algeria. So my theory is he might be on a very bizarre interrail trip.
What has he left behind, though?
Loads of stuff.
Yeah.
On his on the doormat of his compound, there was a letter saying, "Dear Colonel Gaddafi, property that may interest you has just come vacant in Pakistan." We have another dictator who wishes to move into your area and is looking for a family-sized dictatorial compound.
My favourite picture was the guy with the jet ski. Like that guy. Like, you think that guy... He looks thrilled, but how many opportunities does that guy have to go jet skiing? He's just sitting there going, look at me, I go jet skiing.
They also found, like, a photo album with photos of Condoleezza Rice in.
This is the weirdest thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Full album.
Actually, it was probably a prospectus from Black Beauties.
When you rent somebody from Black Beauty, do they do the theme tune? Because that would be
You
cool.
rent. Is that how you see it? You rent them. Don't forget to rewind your prostitute before you take her back.
I'm sorry. Am I stripping the dignity away from prostitution there? I apologise for that. No. You're doing most of this for the government, you know.
After half an hour.
After half an hour. Half an hour.
I like your side-to-side rocking motion, though. I'd suggest that's quite an unusual technique. But I don't know much about Ireland.
At the end of that round, the points go to Miles, Alva and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely lines from a horror film.
You've got a flat screen TV and brand new trainers. I know what you did last summer.
I'm sorry, it's just you look nothing like your photo in Match.com.
Is there anybody there? Can you hear me? Is there anybody there? This is the Christian O'Connell Breakfast Show.
That was Mayor Boris Johnson with his official statement on the riots.
You seen the traffic? It's a nightmare on Elm Street.
And now, Alan Bennett's long-awaited remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Nantwich Leaf Blower kerfuffle.
What do you want? What do you want? No, I'm not paying too much for my car insurance.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. So I gave Mark's dinner party an 8.
Do you like scary movies, Sydney? Oh, sorry. Is Sydney there, please?
If you don't keep up payments to your exorcist, there's a danger that your home will become repossessed.
Ha! Joke's on you, Dracula. I've got AIDS.
I ate his liver with some jelly beans and a nice ombongo.
I've seen the ring! I wish that builder would pull his trousers up.
I don't have to listen to you. You're just a puppet. If you don't shut up, I'm going to put you back in your box, Mr. Clegg.
I'm afraid he's been bitten by George Michael. He's turned into a vampire.
OK, the next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
Have you got a wicked side? Then you're a prick.
Take 2 bottles into the shower. Not anymore. I've got a proper dildo.
JD Sports. 2,000 looters can't be wrong.
Do you suffer from dull, lifeless hair? Don't worry, Andy Parsons will buy it off you.
With ABS, sat-nav and airbags, this may be the most advanced condom you ever buy.
How much did you say you earned for those Direct Line car insurance adverts? Well, people deserve to hear about this. Honk, 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 honk.
Dara O'Brien. We work, so he doesn't have to.
Cash for cash. Send us your cash in an envelope and we'll send it back, minus commission.
Every year, thousands of bears are captured, tortured and forced to dance in front of crowds of cheering people. Call 0845 now for ticket hotline.
Ash for cash. Put your cremated relatives in an envelope.
Got that bloated feeling? My uncle had that. He was dead in a week.
Smash for cash. Put in mashed potato in an envelope.
Don't just book it, Thomas Cook it. Dignitas in Switzerland.
Why have we got barbecues at low, low prices? Because the summer's been shit and no one's bought them.
At the Dogs Trust, we never put down a healthy dog. But the minute one coughs, it's in the Thames.
Do you suffer from unsightly chest hair? Should have gone to Peck Shavers.
Lynx. Come on, virgins, wash your cocks.
OK, at the end of that round, points go to Chris, Hugh and Carl. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Ava Vidal, Miles Jupp. Commiserations to Chris Allison, Hugh Dennis and Carl Donnelly. Thank you for watching, and Darby, good night.
Tomorrow night, the razor-sharp minds bent on trivia. It's QI at 10 here on BBC Two. And there's more comedy right now on BBC Three. Lee Nelson's offering someone the chance to find love on his Well Good show.